What's up, everyone? Welcome to this day in Philly sports history for May 4th, 2025. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery. Welcome to a Sunday edition of the podcast. I'd be remiss if I did not say, May the 4th be with you. Not really a big Star Wars fan. Never was. Hopefully, of all the things that get said on here, that's not the most controversial one that's going to make me lose listeners. But that just was never one of those things I was into. But if you are a Star Wars fan, may the 4th be with you. All right, let's get into the Phillies. And what a win for them. It almost seems like they're finally starting to turn it around, especially against the Diamondbacks, especially with Aaron Nola on the mound, who has historically not done well against the Diamondbacks, but pounded out some hits early, 7-2. JT Realmuto and Max Kepler both went deep. 2 homers, 5 RBI between the two of them. Brandon Marsh returned to the lineup and looked like what we would hope that he would be, going 2 for 4 with an RBI, hit some hard balls. Bryce struggled. He's so close, I think, to finally turning it around. Went 0 for 4 with a walk, but he does appear as though he's seeing the ball better. And I feel like I did a little bit of research on this. He historically does, since he's been with the Phillies, get off to slow starts in April, but this is usually right around the time he starts picking it up. So hopefully we see him. But they won the series now against the D-backs, which they're a good team. Have historically, over the past couple of years, had the Phillies numbers. So totally will take that. Kyle Schwarber extended his on-base streak to 39 games. And thanks to this stat from my boy John Foley over at On Pattison, I was wondering this. I'm sure you were. I always say if you're keeping score at home. But that is number 9 all-time in Phillies team history. Mike Schmidt reached base safely in 56 straight games from 1981 to 1982. So still a little ways to go for Kyle, but has not been on base all season. So you got to like what you're seeing there. But back to Nola, who obviously has struggled early in the season, but very, very good quality start from him. 6 innings, 0 runs, 8 Ks. We can take a deep breath, hopefully, with Nola, because that's like 2 or 3 straight good starts, even though he wasn't getting the wins, other than, I guess, really the first start he had. I think he's been doing, kind of turning it around. So hopefully this is the start of the starting pitchers dominating it. Maybe the Phils can go on a nice little run here. Need Bryce to get heated up. And they're back at it today looking for the sweep. Ranger Suarez makes his season debut, not major league, season debut for the Phillies today. That's a 2 o'clock game because I want to give a shout out and say good luck and congratulations to everybody out there running the Broad Street Run today. Probably some guys or some people are finishing already, but congratulations if you did run it. I've run it like 7 or 8 times. One of my favorite races. I'm in the process of trying to build my strength back up in my legs to start making one last run at the Broad Street Run, but always a fun day. So good luck and congratulations to everybody out there running the Broad Street Run. I did want to say too, yesterday, the sound was a little wonky. I'm not sure what happened there. And as I'm doing it now, it sounds fine, but I apologize for the sound being a little bit off. But please be sure to follow me on social media, Jimbo_Mont on Twitter and TikTok. On Instagram, at Philly Jimbo. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Jimbo_Mont, and continue to spread the word as we grow this thing. And don't forget, there's always highlights, photos, newspaper clips on my on my social media, including Facebook and LinkedIn. So be sure to check that out if you want a visual representation of what we're talking about. All right, so let's recap yesterday's question of the day. Figured we'd have a little bit of fun on a Saturday. And I said the Cowboys are not available. Who is the biggest Philly sports rival? Lots of great answers. That was all in honor of yesterday not being the best day for the Sixers-Celtics rivalry, for the Sixers anyway. But coming in first place with 42% of the vote, it's the Mets. Hard to argue that one. Really, really hard to argue. The Mets are always right there. So thank you, as always, for participating in the question of the day. There will be another one here later in the show. And I do want to say, kudos to the person who said New York teams just in general. Basically did a little bit of Tupac on them, said New York as a team, a fan base, and as a city. So shout out to the Hit 'em Up reference from Tupac. Union with a 2-1 win over Montreal yesterday. Mikel Ua scored in the 84th minute to give the Union the win as they still remain at the top. I think they're a point back of the Eastern Conference standings. So good win for them. Even with the subtractions, they seem to be really putting it together this season. So always a good time. We're going down in a couple weeks to see them when they play Miami against Messi. So that should be a good time. All right. We ran our tankathon simulations this morning. Sixers kept their pick, got to number 6. And again, that is the second worst case scenario, I think. I think you're still going to get a good player at 6, but really want to see them move up to get one of the top 5 players there. But they kept it. So at least you have options and things to do if you keep the pick. And a good day for the Flyers as they look to actually do their draft lottery tomorrow as they got the first pick in the NHL draft. Would love to see that and just what Danny and Keith have up their sleeves. I want to mention this because I did not get a chance to watch it, but I saw a couple of clips. The Eagles do a good job on their social media and through their website with a lot of the behind the scenes, the mic'd up, I forget what they call it, but the mic'd up and things like that. But they have about a 16-minute video of the behind the scenes in the draft room from this previous draft. And I got to say, Vic Fangio was ecstatic how he told him they got Jahad Campbell. So I'm anxious to watch the rest of that and just to kind of see what's going on. I did see another one where they commented, you could tell that the Eagles were trying to trade up because when Atlanta traded their pick, Howie was like, that's crazy. No wonder nobody's trading with me. So I'm looking forward to that. But if you haven't done so, check it out because I'm sure it's good. The Eagles always do a good job with that. Be sure to check out my boys at the Clashing Conferences podcast. Lots of great things going on with their sports fan network. Go to clashingconferences.com for details about what they have to offer, how you can get involved, and then check out their podcasts. They're fun anywhere you get your podcasts as well as on YouTube. They got a great membership group going. And like I said, go to clashingconferences.com to see how you can get involved. And then, of course, go to Philly Goat. I mean, obviously for Mother's Day, Father's Day, all of that stuff. But they have a ton of John Kruk shirts. And John Kruk, if you were watching the game last night, dude is amazing. I guess as they always do, they brought some of the good things from Citizens Bank Park for them to eat. And they brought up the cannoli quesadillas or s'mores quesadillas, which look amazing, by the way. And he didn't want to eat them, but T-Mac was eating them, and Kruk just took over and just had some fun with it as he was doing the play-by-play. But this dude is the man. You can get the Kruk around and find out. You can get the John Kruk is my spirit animal, all available at Philly Goat. And a lot of the John Kruk stuff does donate to his charity supporting veterans. So if you're going to do that, you're not only getting a cool shirt, you're also helping out a charity as well. Be sure to use the promo code Jim Montgomery to take 10% off your order. That's phillygoat.com, promo code Jim Montgomery to take 10% off of your order. All right, today we are going to go back to the year 2000. And on this day in 2000, technically, I guess, the Flyers evened their second-round playoff series at 2 games apiece against the Penguins in the second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. This was an epic game. You may remember it. The game started on May 4th, did not finish up until 2:35 in the morning on May 5th. 7 hours of hockey, 5 overtimes. Keith Primo scored the game winner with 12:01 into the 5th overtime period to give the Flyers the 2-1 victory over the Penguins. Longest game in modern NHL history. It's the third longest in NHL history. The 2 longest happened back in the 30s, so I guess that's why it's considered modern NHL history. But the Penguins got the puck rolling, I should say, first in the first period. Then John LeClair tied it in the third with a power play goal. And the win actually propelled the Flyers. They would finish out the series, winning the next 2 games. go into the Eastern Conference Finals against the Devils, built that 3-1 lead that they would blow. That was the infamous Scott Stevens hit on Eric Lindros. But I just remember this game in my fraternity. It was like the senior night. We called it Pollyanna, where everybody brings a bottle and just sit around, have drinks, and just tell stories for the graduating seniors, like of their time at Temple and things like that. Two of my good buddies, Jay and Vasily, it was their Pollyanna, and I just remember watching. The game was always on in the background, and we're just like, of course, some Pittsburgh fans in the fraternity too, so lots of trash talking. But I remember it's the only time I remember the game we never thought the game was going to end. I remember we were all feeling pretty good, went out, came back, went back out. Like, it was just an insane time. But the Flyers beat the Penguins on this day 2-1 in 5 overtimes when Keith Primo scored the game winner. Longest game in modern NHL history. All right, and then finally today, we're going to add to our Philly Sports Summer playlist. And I told you, this is going to be a very eclectic mix, but it's good if you want to just put on some music and not have to deal with it. It kind of keeps everyone happy. And today's song is Take It to the House by Trick Daddy. This was released in 2001. It peaked at number 50 on the Billboard Hot 100. But the Philly sports tie here is, I vaguely remember this, but I do remember it, that at the Vet and even the early days of the Link, whenever a punt returner or a kickoff returner, I remember specifically Brian Mitchell at the Vet, would go back to return the kick. They would play Take It to the House, obviously hoping for a touchdown. I don't know if I ever remember anyone actually taking it to the house and then playing this song. I'm sure they probably did. But even now, still, whenever a kickoff returner or a punt returner go back, I immediately goes into my head that song. So that's, to me, that's the staple of a good Philly sports song, is when situations come up during Eagles games or Phillies or whatever, that's your go-to song. So Trick Daddy, Take It to the House, is today's Philly Sports Summer playlist song of the day. And if you want a bonus song, and again, this is going to be eclectic, you can throw on Casey and the Sunshine Band's Put On Your Boogie Shoes, which is the sample that Trick Daddy uses. So there you go. 2 good songs, very different genres, but nonetheless, 2 good songs for your Philly Sports Summer playlist. We'll continue to add to that tomorrow. On this day in 2000, Flyers beat the Penguins 2-1 in a 5-overtime thriller. Game started on May 4th, did not end until May 5th around 2:35 a.m. Longest game in modern NHL history. One of my favorite Flyers memories. The game coupled with the senior celebration. So that happened on this day in 2000. We'll have more on Eagles rookie camps. Not a lot of news coming out of there, which I assume is a good thing. Obviously, Campbell is not participating, but if there's any updates, we'll have that. We'll run our final tankathon for the Flyers tomorrow. We'll run another one for the Sixers as we keep going. And, of course, we will recap the Phillies game as they look to sweep the Diamondbacks with Ranger Suarez on the mound. This has been This Day in Philly Sports History for May 4th, 2025. My name's Jim Montgomery. Congrats to all the Broad Street runners out there. Go have yourselves a Sunday, and until next time, I'll see you when I see you.